Alright, hey guys, it's Antiquated Ideas, and today I've got kind of a weird video for you. As you can see, I don't usually do like a desktop capture or anything like that, but I wanted to talk about this case that I saw because it severely pissed me off, and I really have something to say about it, and it's something that I think all of you need to listen to also, because I'm going to just say it outright here. The point to this is that if you don't want to see shit like this happening, then you need to fucking say something. You need to go out there. You need to protest. You need to change what's acceptable behavior for police, because things like this that are happening are not acceptable. So let's get into it, because I want to talk about this. So here, this is in Kentucky, all right? So this guy, Kenneth Walker, right here, and his girlfriend, who is an EMT, which is not entirely relevant, but I guess it is. I don't know. So it was her house, I guess, is the understanding. So what happened here, and I don't think it says it in this article. I think it said it in the New York Times article or whatever, but I'm not gonna pay for the New York Times because I don't support fucking journalism, especially not like that. So here's what happened. This guy, Kenneth Walker, right? He's accused of firing his gun at police officers who were serving a warrant at his girlfriend's apartment back in March, I guess. They were looking for some guy, and here's the stupid thing, too. Apparently, this guy had been put in jail earlier in the day. And by earlier in the day, I mean literally at any point during the day. So the police broke into this guy's house, and it was in like the middle of the night or something. It was sometime during the night, anyway, and it was supposed to be part of a quote-unquote no-knock drug raid or something like that. And so the police were in plain clothes, and they just barged in. So here's what happened, okay? So here's Walker's description. He said that there were several bangs on the door, and when him and his girlfriend got out of bed to see who was there, he said the door was being rammed open. That's when Walker fired one shot, he said, prompting a barrage of return gunfire, leaving his girlfriend, Taylor, shot multiple times, dying on the floor of her hallway. She was only 26. So this is the fucking ridiculous thing. Okay, these people in plain clothes barge into this guy's home. They don't say that they're police, not that the police have a fucking right to just barge into your home. Anyway, that's completely unconstitutional and also completely unacceptable, like I was saying. But so not only do they do that, they don't announce themselves. They just barge in, no better than a fucking common criminal would do, than somebody if they were just going to break into your house and try and murder you. That's the gist of what happened here. If you took away the fact that they're police officers, they broke into this man's home, tried to murder him. They ended up murdering, in cold fucking blood, murdered this guy's girlfriend. And then when he shot one of them, which, by the way, he shot in the femoral artery, so that guy was rushed off to the hospital, and I guess he lived, unfortunately. But what had happened is they tried to say that this guy, because he returned fire, he opened fire on these police who, by the way, he didn't know that they were police, and they were just in his home. He said, first of all, he said he tried to shoot downward toward the ground to, I guess, dissuade them from being in his house. Not that I guess it matters, but maybe that's how he hit the guy in the femoral artery. But then, okay, so obviously he gets arrested, and they take him to jail. And then this whole case, which I guess they dropped the charge, but they said it was an attempted murder of a police officer. How the fuck are you going to tell me it's attempted murder when they didn't have a right to be in this man's house? I mean, is this not clear to people anymore? They don't have a fucking right to be in this guy's house. The police do not have a right to just barge into your home without your consent, not even announce themselves, and then kill your girlfriend. I mean, it's the same as when they go to do whatever they're going to do at your house, and then they fucking murder your dog. Like, okay, maybe it's a pit bull or whatever, and the pit bull's going to come charging at them. Sure, I can understand that. But they don't do that. They shoot people's like fucking chihuahuas or, fufu, whatever. I mean, why? Why are you going to do that? Why do you need to do that to these people? And then no wonder why nobody wants to stand up and say something about what the police are allowed to do when things like this are happening. Because it's not like the days when Waco and Ruby Ridge happened. No, because instead the police have installed this basis and culture of fear where literally this guy here, he's getting fucking charged for attempted murder of a police officer who broke into his home and killed his girlfriend. I mean, it's completely unacceptable. Here, I guess this is what fucking Sergeant John Mattingly, so you know his name, this is what he said, which, by the way, if these people don't get fired, I sincerely hope that they go to jail. I really do. There's no place for murder. I mean, it doesn't matter who did it. It doesn't matter if you're gonna fucking shoot some hobo in the head because you're a sick fuck and you like killing people. It doesn't matter if it was, a heat of the moment. Oh, your wife left you, so you decided to stab her. And it doesn't matter if you're a police officer and you break into somebody's home. Murder is murder. You should go to jail for it. So here's what this cop said. Not that I want to hear him out, because we already have established that he's in the wrong. But he said, I knocked on the door, banged on it. He said, we didn't announce the first couple because our intent was not to hit the door. Our intent was to give the girl plenty of time to get to the door because they said she was probably there alone. Yeah, fucking right. In multiple other articles that I read, it said that they were serving a drug warrant for, again, some guy that was put in jail earlier that day. He wasn't even there. So, I don't know what that's about. Oh, and then they started to announce themselves, saying that they were pleased with warrants. After no answer, Mattingly said they ran the door in. Yeah, of course, the police are going to say that. Right? Isn't that funny? That the person whose girlfriend got murdered in her own home is saying that the police didn't announce themselves, and that's why he shot at them. Oh, but of course, the police can't do anything wrong, so they're going to say that they announced themselves. Yeah, right. I'm sure that the commissioner didn't tell them to say that. Well, let's take another look. Let's take a look at something else, okay? Because this reminds me of another case. What was that one? The guy, and I tried to look it up before. I couldn't really remember it. So it was like a man. He was shot through his wall or something. It was a red flag case. So let's see if I can find it. Maybe not in the news. Yeah. Here it is. The Maryland. Yeah. So the police, basically what happened is it was a red flag gun law, whatever. And the police, they barged into this guy's home the same way that they did to the other one. And they fucking shoot him through the wall, mind you. I don't know how they justified that one while he was asleep. So let's take a look at this one, okay? So it says that a Maryland man, this was a while ago. Yeah, more than 2 months old. Okay, a Maryland man was shot and killed by a police officer while asleep in his house when police opened fire from outside his house, an attorney for the 21-year-old man's family said on Friday. The man's girlfriend was also wounded. So they're saying that Duncan Lemp confronted the police and was shot by one of the officers early on Thursday. Let's see. Absolutely no justification for shooting Lemp. Well, whatever. Whatever it was. They said that he was, prohibited from possessing firearms. Okay, so they burst into his fucking house and shoot him in it, which is ridiculous. I mean, uh, how? I mean, how is this justified? Even if it's, even if you have some sort of law where you're going to restrict who can own guns and who can't, why is it acceptable that you can just barge into somebody's home with no announcement? Oh, here, how many people have died due to red flag of the 166 petitions? Oh, okay. That's not what I wanted to know. But here's the thing. All right, so let me show you red flag gun law. Yeah, states. Okay. So when you look at this, all right, at first you'd say, okay, well, this isn't that many. It's just a few, right? That's what a lot of people think. Oh, and they also think, all right, well, it's common sense, right? It's a common sense gun law that they should just be able to take your guns away because you're potentially dangerous. Well, a lot of people are potentially dangerous to certain people, all right? See, I would think that the people who are saying that I need to have a vaccine so that they can fucking track me, I would say that those people are potentially dangerous to the welfare of every American. And not only that, but they're potentially dangerous to anyone who's interested in keeping their rights. But hey, why don't you ask Bill Gates about that one? I mean, just the fact that they're allowed to do these things, the fact that the police are allowed to do what they are allowed to do. I mean, here, let's look at, an undercover cop car, right? So you start looking at these, and some of them, yeah, you can tell. All right. There's even this article, I guess. But you can tell, okay, wow, they got the big push bar, they got the light, they got the steelies on it. But some of these cars, right, if this one is actually an undercover car, and I wouldn't be surprised that it is, that does not look like an undercover car at all. Neither does this one, especially because half of them have tint. Okay, so you're not going to see these lights. They don't want you to see the lights. I mean, look at this. Oh, okay. California, no surprise. They're putting a fucking Toyota Camry as an undercover police car. I mean, why is that acceptable? They'll do literally whatever they can to catch you. Because in America, it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. And I know you've heard it before, but I swear to God, it's guilty until proven innocent. I mean, here's a story, right? So I was going to my girlfriend's house one afternoon, and I was at a stoplight, and there was this road to the left. It was an intersection, right? So obviously there's this road to the left, and there's this Mustang that starts turning left onto the road that I'm going to, and there's this minivan behind it, and Police USA, right? Oh, wow, look at this. What's going on here? Wow, look at these guys. They sure don't look like the police, do they? They sure look a lot like the military. Wow, look at that. Militarization of police. It's a whole issue. Wouldn't you like to know? So, I mean, look, here, if you want to read this, it's, I'm sure it's probably good. But this is the issue that I'm talking about. I mean, why are the police allowed to own these things? I mean, in police APC, right? So if you don't know what an APC is, it's an armored personnel carrier. I mean, look at this. Why the fuck do the police need this? They don't. And if the police and the government are allowed to own these, why are we not allowed to own the same things? I mean, it's just absurd that the police are allowed to get away with owning all of these things. They can basically become a paramilitary group under the protection of the federal government, just like the National Guard. And speaking of the National Guard, oh look, here's Kent State, all right? So here's my point, okay? If you don't want to see things like this in your town, on your street, or God forbid, in your own home, you need to say something. Don't allow the police and the government to do the things that they're doing. The very fact that the police thought that they had the right to walk into that man's home, or I guess it was his girlfriend, sorry, but the fact that they thought that they had the right to just walk in there and not announce themselves because of some stupid ass drug warrant, it's ridiculous. It's unacceptable. I mean, I've said these things, over and over again. I just don't have, it's appalling. I don't have other words for it. The fact that they're allowed to do this. But part of what allows it right now is that people will support the police no matter what. They'll say, oh, but the police said this and this happened. But, here, 49 years ago, 50 years ago, Kent State wasn't that long ago. Why don't we remember that? Why don't we remember how willing and able the government is to attack its own people, the people that it's supposed to be protecting? I mean, no, not all police are going to be this way. I mean, let's be realistic, right? You can't say that every single police officer is going to behave this way. But the fact that there are police officers who do behave this way and who are allowed to behave this way, who are allowed to militarize this way, that's the problem that I have. See, you can't even go to church without the police watching you. I mean, they're out all the time. It's like they're just looking for something wrong. I mean, not in the way that they should be, looking to create something wrong. So, again, I implore you, if you don't agree with these things, then make it be known. Because the government isn't going to push people to this extent again. And if they do, we're going to have the same sort of issue that we had with Vietnam. But, again, those people don't even fucking remember it. Now they're over here prosecuting the same people that they used to be. Anyway, I wanted to make this video because this is a topic that I'm very passionate about. I mean, having your rights. Just real quick, all right? If I type in a militia, all right? Let's see. If we go to news articles, in the USA, almost all of them are against militias. I mean, just the fact that this is a constitutional right, just the same as you would think that being safe in your own home is, but apparently is not. So just keep that in mind. And I apologize. I know this video is going on 20 minutes almost, but I just had a lot to say about this. And I know this isn't the usual video, but whatever. I feel that it's something that needs to get put out there, especially because it's worrying the things that are allowed to happen. I mean, why can't we just go back to... I mean, I know it's an oversimplification, but the 1970s, right? The police weren't all the Kent State type. I mean, it was, if you get caught in the car with beer, they take your beer and they drive you to your parents' house and deliver you to the front door and let your parents deal with it. I mean, why is that not the same sentiment that we have today? It's just, I mean, that's another topic, so I digress. But if you like the video, again, leave a like, Let me know what you think in the comments, and please feel free to support me so I could maybe learn how to not do this shit and have something better. Thank you.